This is big breaking emergency news. Continuity of government plans have now been sent out, and businesses are now being warned to get ready and get prepared for these plans to be activated. All right, this is a major warning sign and a red alert, right? This is also on top of we have officially declared emergencies from the World Health Organization, from WHO. They have officially declared an emergency today as well too. So lots of big things going on. Let's get into the details here really quick, guys. Please just hit it up for me down there. Hit that like, hit that subscribe. I'm posting multiple videos a day, keeping you guys updated on all this big urgent news. All right, so this is what's going on right now. The government just majorly updated their emergency continuity of government plans, which is essentially their plan when there's a major emergency. And they're warning of food disruptions from this emergency. They're warning of fuel disruptions from this emergency. And they're also warning that society itself could shut down. All right, so this is big, and they're sending this memo out to businesses to be prepared, right? They're saying there could be major disruptions to food and fuel. So be ready and be prepared and have stockpiles of these things just in case, right? So you need to have stockpiles of this too. All right, I know most of you guys already have your preps ready, but maybe buy one more canned good. All right, every week buy a couple canned goods, buy a bag of rice, buy some water, stock it away. All right, buy some medicine. Get ready, because they're warning us, get your tanks full as well. Get your gas tanks and your water tanks full, because they're updating and warning businesses that the COG plan could be activated. And it comes right on time with the WHO just declared this emergency officially for the mpox. All right, so yesterday the CDC in Africa declared it, and then the WHO declared it today officially, right? So watch out, be on high alert, and be ready to dig in and to not go with the flow of this, right? To be on your own island, essentially. That's what you're going to have to do if these things happen again, right? So this is what's going on right now. This is what happened in Canada, right? So the Canadian government warns the country to prepare for a, quote, new virus far worse than the big C. All right, so they're saying it's going to be even worse than 2020. That's what they're warning of. And the same time this is coming out, we have this emergency declaration from WHO. All right, so be ready, guys. Have your preps ready. Be ready to be on your own island and to dig in and to not comply with all the stuff that's going to be thrown at you, okay? Right here, it says the Canadian government has issued advice warning citizens to prepare for a hypothetical new virus that could lead to food and fuel disruptions. The Center for Occupational Health and Safety rolled out a second edition of their, quote, flu and infectious disease outbreaks business continuity plan handbook. This is big. They just updated this. WHO is authorizing emergency use authorizations for these things as well. This is big that they're updating this. It says the guide provides information for employers on what to prepare for in the face of another 2020 event. It says in the new edition, they focus on a, quote, hypothetical virus that they warn could trigger further disruptions than the big C in 2020. It states that based on trends from the past flu, there may be higher averages number of illnesses and deaths in age groups different than what we typically see during annual flu seasons. Okay, so they're saying that we could have major death and illness in different age groups than we typically see. Maybe children. Maybe this one will affect children, or maybe it'll affect, who knows, all right? They just declared this as well for the mpox. Very weird, strange, sketchy stuff going on. All right, it says the guide also warns employers they must be ready for a scenario like a disease outbreak or a pan you know what, which forces people to stay home. So they're warning employers, get ready to have your employees staying home and have stockpiles as well. It says if there's a pandemic, how many people will be off work? It's impossible to determine with certainty. Estimates vary because no one will know for sure how ill the new virus will make people, how fast it will spread, and how many people will not go to work until it happens. Okay, so they're even warning we're going to see shutdowns, we're going to see disruptions. They just updated this continuity of government plan. All this stuff's happening. All right, you tell me what's going on. What do you guys think is happening down below? Let's hope this isn't it. Right? I don't want to see this. I don't want to see another repeat, but it seems like they're playing the same cards again, right? And it says a future one will come in 2 or 3 waves, about 3 to 9 months separating each outbreak. All right, so kind of weird. It says a future pan, you know what, will, quote, come in 2 or 3 waves, about 3 to 9 months separating each outbreak. Kind of weird. So they're even saying it'll be in multiple waves, separated by multiple months. It's going to keep going on. We're going to have to shut things down. They already know all the stuff about this hypothetical virus that they're warning of. And they're updating their continuity of government and continuity of business plans right now. It says a hypothetical virus could also last in these cycles for as much as 2 years, the report warns. Sounds familiar. It seems like we are getting fed the same thing over and over. Same story is happening again, right? What do you guys think? It says it adds that people should brace for disruptions like reduced labor, supply chain issues, and shifts in consumer demand. Didn't we already see enough of this? Haven't we already had enough of this? Everything is so expensive. The prices have not gone down. Okay, inflation slows down, but until inflation is negative, the prices have not gone down since the last few years. Okay, it's still going up 2% on top of last year. Okay, 3%, 5%, whatever it is. As long as it's positive, it's still going up, and it's still way more expensive than what it was 4 years ago. Okay, it's cumulative. It's always stacking on top of each other. Till it's negative, it's not going down. You're not getting reduced prices, right? It's just the rate that it's going up has slowed down just a little bit, right? That's the only thing that happens when we're having lower inflation. And it says among these disruptions, they will include telecommunications, banking, water, gasoline, medicine, and food. You hear that? Telecommunications, we're going to have outages there, all from this. Banking, water, gas, medicine, and food. How do they know all these things are going to be disrupted from this? They have a plan. They have a plan. It's in the COG plan, and they're sending it out to businesses right now to get them prepped and ready for what's coming next. All right, this is big that they are putting out this warning and this plan to the businesses. All right, so what's your plan? What are you doing to get ready and get prepared? Because we could see major disruptions. We saw it in 2020, and I don't know if we can absorb the shock like we did before. The supply chain, everything was running at like almost maximum efficiency. The economy was very good. Businesses were booming, and we could handle it then. All right, the economy was doing good then. All right, and sorry if you're hearing any background noise. I had to crank the truck up and get the air on. It's still 85 degrees here in the middle of the night. It doesn't cool down. It's so hot. It's been crazy out. But that's, if you're hearing anything, that's what it is. It's just I gotta turn the truck on to get the AC going because it's so hot in here. But we could absorb it then. We were in a position where things were just going so well that we could take the hit. But now we cannot take the hit. We are in a vulnerable position. Interest rates are really high. What are they just going to do? Just raise interest rates even more after they shut things down and print a bunch of money again? And do all this stuff again. And then it's just like, oh, why is there more inflation? What's going on here? And they're going to have to just raise interest rates again. Okay, and what are they going to be, 10%? 15%? That's what we're heading towards right now, right? We're getting closer to this situation if they activate any of these plans. And the WHO just declared this emergency, right? So that means that there's going to be, like, other countries are going to start working with them for preventative measures and restrictions. Like, there might be checks from people coming from certain countries. Okay, there's like a dozen countries in Africa. It's isolated in Congo, apparently. That's what's being reported. And about a dozen countries surrounding it. And we could see restrictions being put on travel from these parts of the world. All right, people coming in or traveling there or going to or from there. We could see restrictions, potentially quarantines setting up. It's like, oh, if you came from this area or you traveled to this area, quarantine for 7 days or 14 days or whatever. We could see these things starting to pop up. All right, I know it's like hard to remember all the crazy stuff that happened. It almost feels like a dream. It almost feels like a weird dream that was so strange in our society. Everything was so just different. Okay, and we could see all that stuff coming back. The craziness tied to it, the insanity, the people losing their mind over these things. Okay, we could see this coming back. And we could also see this even affect maybe later in the year, right? Maybe affect November. Maybe there's like voting stations are shut down or something. I'm not saying this is happening. I'm just saying maybe this could happen if this becomes a big enough issue. It seems like they're getting ready for it. We saw this happen before. Certain voting stations and places were shut down and restricted. Okay, you can only go there certain times. They only did mail-in voting or whatever. Okay, there was a lot of weird stuff going on. And we could see a lot of this funny business happen again. All right, a lot of funny stuff going on behind the scenes. Let's hope not. But it seems like it's lining up. I don't know. Every 4 years, it seems like something like this is happening now. It's part of their plan. All right, so make sure you guys are getting prepared and stocked up too, because they're warning of disruptions to water. I don't know how the water would be disrupted from this. I don't know. Doesn't really make sense. There's just not enough workers or something. So many people are just dropping like flies. What are they warning of here? Telecommunications. Okay, all these things. Let me get the list back up here really quick of all the different industries. Banking. Okay, gasoline, medicine, and food. They're saying the supply chain and reduced labor is going to cause all these major disruptions. All right, so be on the lookout for this. Be prepared for this. Be ready. Be insulated. And these things could happen quickly. All right, they've already declared these emergencies. They were talking about this last week. We might do this. And a week later, it's happening. Next week, there could be more movement inside the U.S., all right? Now people coming from these flights are having restrictions, or anyone going over there is having restrictions. And then a month later, we could see even more, all right? So I will keep you guys updated. Please hit it up for me down there to help get this warning out so people know what's going on, all right? They're updating their continuity of government plans, and they're sending out these plans to all the businesses in Canada right now and warning the public that this is coming, all right? So they want to be telling the businesses to get ready and get prepared. They warn them preemptively, all right? We saw all the funny stuff going on too in 2020 with all these businesses, all these weird loans and weird stuff going on, and all this crazy stuff, all this funny money stuff going on. It was nuts. It was a giant scam. Trillions and trillions, tens of trillions of dollars now in the aftermath. Okay, I believe we were under $20 trillion national debt before all the stuff popped off in 2020. And now we are at 34 trillion. So that's a lot just in 4 years. We've almost doubled, we're 75% of the way there to doubling our entire national debt just in 4 years. And there's been nothing to show for it. It's all been scammed and frauded and taken away from us. Nothing to show. There's no like super highways that were built. There's no trains that were updated or built. There were no high-speed rails. The airlines are falling out the sky. Planes are falling out the sky. Trains are falling off the tracks. The roads are hunks of junks, right? Half the interstates and half the roads are just terrible, right? Barely drivable. None of this stuff. We didn't get anything. There's nothing that you can physically see. There was nothing that we got from this, right? Everything's worse, honestly. Quality's worse. Of all the goods, right? Services are worse. Everything's way more expensive. Everything's just worse now. Within 4 or 5 years, it's all just tanked. All right, so just imagine if this happened again. We cannot absorb it. Our country will not be able to handle it. The global economy will not be able to handle it. It could be the thing that disrupts us from the world reserve currency if we have to print another $10 trillion. Okay, so thank you guys. Make sure you guys are getting stocked up because it's also a hedge against inflation as well. If you have your preps, you have your items, you have your tools, you have your food, you have the items that you know you're going to need, you're going to want, get them now because they're only going to get more expensive. Everything, every little thing now is $100, $50 or $100, any little thing you need. It's crazy. It's crazy how expensive things have gotten. So get these things now. It's going to be $20 more next year. And then next year it's going to be $50 more after that. Just get it now. And then the next year after that, it might not even be available. It might just be gone. They're even saying the supply chain is going to be disrupted. Telecommunications, all these things. So you might not even be able to get that specific prep item, that specific thing you've been looking for, been waiting for. It might be gone. It might be banned. They're trying to pass all these laws. They're always banning something. Trying to ban water filters. They're trying to ban self-defense for people. Okay? They're always banning something. Banning collecting rainwater on your roof, right? Some states are literally like that. They have limits on it. Or some states are just banned. They're always trying to ban something. So get this stuff in now. Get it grandfathered in now. Get it before inflation goes up. Right? That's what we're doing. We've just been hedging into our homestead, right? Everything's just going back into the homestead right now and getting more prepared and getting more dug in and ready in case anything hits the fan. All right, so thank you guys. I hope you have big blessings for your life, your family, and I hope you have a big old blessed day.